Hello, hello everyone. Welcome back to my Kakake Coffee Christmas special. Yay, for the next Kakake Council Christmas, we're gonna have only special people for, I mean, you're all special, but seven special individual to give a special for Christmas episode. And my first special guest, my long-term friend, Jools. How are you?
Hi, Gudrun. I'm well, thanks. I'm honoured to be considered to be special.
Oh, you are, of course you are. Um, so I'm like this year all came up yesterday almost. So let me ask you, Jules, what do you understand about Christmas? When you hear it's Christmas coming, how you feel?
So, yeah, I'd say historically, excitement, just pure excitement for the um, excitement of Christmas as viewed through a child's eyes. And because I had a child and I have loads and loads of memories of, you know, spending months and weeks shopping for Christmas presents for my son and whether was being a consumer and it was right or wrong, that's gone. I did it, and we had great Christmases. We had beautiful Christmases. I had beautiful Christmases as a child as well, and I can get overwhelmed. I can get that feeling of overwhelm, or used to do. I don't now, but I did used to get that feeling of overwhelm as well. Um, However, I think the almost collective excitement carried me forward. And then I got to a place where I discovered that I appreciate the light. Like Diwali is the festival of light. And a wise person, when I was feeling a bit negative about Christmas and the consumerism, and I was judging it, negatively, and somebody said, why don't you just think about it as the non-Diwali festival of light? And that cheered me up. And I see that people make an effort more around Christmas. Again, rightly or wrongly, they do. They, contact long lost friends, they send them cards, they make all those connections. It's almost like they're buoyed up as well as I was. They're buoyed up by that collective energy. I could go on forever. I'll stop there because there's loads of things I can say about Christmas.
Yeah, keep going. Interesting. So, do you think, personally, I agree that for Christmas, it's like I try to really make peace now. I used to have that as well, a bit rebellious about it, like consumerism. But now I think, especially after COVID, I think people going to approach it differently. What do you think?
People, other than me,
Or general, how do you see the
so
different? Because how was COVID for you for Christmas?
yeah,
Uh,
okay, so
mm,
I was fine. Yeah, we were fine. We were allowed to gather in certain numbers, and we didn't have lots and lots of people that we needed to see over Christmas, so we didn't. We were okay, and I felt the almost constructed. Yeah, Christmas is going to be fine this year. Da, 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 da. And then 24 hours before Christmas, nah, sorry, yeah, can't have your Christmas. That's how I felt it was delivered, and that really, really ticked me off on behalf of other people. Um, and it's in the past. So I don't feel the need to bring that forward now.
no, no.
So this year, I think, um, I don't hang around in circles of people who are incredibly rich all the time. I also hang around in circles of society where people are incredibly poor as well. So my heart goes out to them, and especially people who've got children and don't earn a big income anyway. They've had to deal with the ongoing effects of COVID. And then we're hit with the gas prices, the electric prices, the fuel prices, and now we're in a recession. So Christmas, I think, is going to be a very much more minimal event for a lot of people. However, I think a lot of people will still make the effort to celebrate it. And there will be some people who are in complete and utter stress about it.
Have you made your plan how you're gonna spend it this year?
Yeah, we've made our plans. I have a son who has 3 grown-up children, and they kind of have their plans for Christmas Day. Normally, I would be around there Christmas morning, and we'd have a bit of breakfast and celebrate opening the presents. But now that the young ones are teenagers, chances are they're not even going to be up till lunchtime. The other chances are that they will probably throw the dinner down the neck and be off out with the friends. So there's not been any formal arrangements, but I probably will go around in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we're going to my partner's daughter's for Christmas lunch. And she has 2 little ones, well, younger ones. So they still do the, the turkey and the trimmings, and we'll go around there and have some food with them. And I'll take my vegetarian alternative along. And
Nice. What are you making? What are you making vegetarian?
No, I'll just buy something. I like the salmon. Non-meat. I'm not actually a vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian, and I eat fish. So I like the salmon Wellington.
Okay.
The it's like a salmon wrapped in pastry and a cream.
Yeah,
so
nice. Yeah.
Because I really like it.
It's very nice. Yeah.
And then we'll be back early afternoon, and we'll probably just go for a little walk.
Yeah.
In nature when it's really quiet. It's great walking on Christmas Day because it's so quiet. Most people are at home.
Yeah.
And so we love going for a little walk on Christmas Day because it's so quiet and we can just, chill out and then come home, maybe have a little bit of something to eat, a couple of glasses of wine, some chocolate, and bed early. We're not.
You don't tell Christmas Eve then. You can celebrate. You can celebrate Christmas Eve.
So my partner's daughter that we're going to Christmas Day, we would normally go to her house on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
But we're going there Christmas Day this year. So Christmas Eve for us will be really quiet. We'll exchange gifts. We'll buy each other a gift. And if we're still up at midnight, we'll exchange gifts. Okay. But I usually get too impatient and I open my presents on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Because we not where we celebrate Christmas Eve. And then we have Christmas Day and Boxing Day when you hang out with the family. I mean, we used to, in Boxing Day, we used to go horse riding.
Right.
It's a Catholic thing where they celebrate the horses and the riders. And so in every village or in every district, the horses coming together with the riders to the church yard, and the priest got his blessing. And then we used to have a lot of snow, and then we would go horse riding in the snow. So
that sounds fabulous.
Yeah, I used to love that. So that was.
Bet you did. That's a lovely tradition.
Yeah, it was amazing. So let me ask you, what is your religious point to it? How do you, in terms of meaning, what is the meaning for you behind Christmas? What is its purpose?
Sorry?
What is its purpose? Why are we doing it?
Right.
What's the point?
The meaning for me is the solstice. My birthday's literally bang on the solstice most years. So it makes me feel pretty special.
Yeah.
And I didn't connect to that for many years. When I was just celebrating Christmas generally, that collective energy would get to me, really, really get to me. And Christmas Eve, I would, when I was, my little one was, and I was doing the traditional Christmas, I always cooked the turkey on the Christmas Eve. So while the turkey was cooking and, I'd be knocking back a few glasses of wine, I would put the TV on and there would be a Christmas carol service generally. And everybody else might have gone to bed and I would stay up and watch the Christmas carol service. And I sat just waiting for Silent Night, and especially from the Westminster Boys Choir, the boy soprano singing Silent Night. And as soon as I heard that, would be it, the tears would come. And I would literally feel the collective, almost sacredness, but on a deep bodily level rather than on a structured religious level, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I would feel the love of it, the tenderness, the poignancy, the fact that we'd spent all that time going into the dark and knowing that the sun was coming up again. I see now where that came from as well. I didn't recognize that at the time. Now I recognize that it's the almost like the ancient sensing of, if that sun doesn't start to come back up in the sky, we've had it, because, we've had however long with not much food. I mean, to us, it's fine. We can go to the supermarket anytime.
Yeah, the old days, yeah.
They did the harvest at the end of August, early September. And they had to go through September, all of November, and most of December, having the food and resources that with all they had was what they'd gathered in at the harvest. So they would spend all that time in the dark, in the cold, the long, dark nights. Very little daylight for them, because the daylight hours were the times when they went out and grew stuff and hunted and brought in what they needed. So by the time they knew the solstice was coming, they knew that 3 days where the sun seemed to stay at the same place for 3 days in the sky. On that 4th day, after that 3 days, calculate it, often it's Christmas Day, 25th, because the solstice is the 21st, 22nd, so 22, 23, 24, 25, 25th day of December. That's the day the sun starts on its journey up in the sky. And then by mid-Feb, we've got, I think it's Beltane, so that to them, to our ancestors, that was an incredibly sacred time. It must have been very tense, because their belief system would be, will the sun come up in the morning? Generally. Yeah. So that, I think, has been kind of handed down to us, that will the sun come up in the morning? And when it does, on Christmas Day, it's a day of celebration, because the sun has begun its rise.
Ignite the connection. It's about the sun rather than anything else, right?
Yeah,
it's all about the weather, really.
Yeah, well, I was brought up in England, in the West. We were brought up not as religious people, but on the religious holidays, they were kind of celebrated in our home. So we'd celebrate Easter, we'd celebrate Christmas, we'd celebrate birthdays, we'd celebrate christenings, we would celebrate weddings, and we would honour funerals. So all the Christian religious festivals we would celebrate, but we didn't go to church generally. I used to try and persuade people to come with me to midnight mass in a local church, and nobody would come with me, so I never went to it. I would have loved to have gone to a midnight mass, because I just sense it. I don't understand a lot of what they say. I don't understand a lot of the singing. I don't understand the liturgies. I feel it, if that makes sense. It's more a sensing, and I think I've always done that and not realised. So the reason I would get really emotional on Christmas Eve listening to Silent Night being sung by a boy choir, it would be a visceral sensing of, I would say, the purity of life, the wonder of what humans can achieve, the beauty of talent, the writing of the music. I mean, you know, when you listen to Silent Night, I defy anybody to not be moved by that sound and those words.
Yeah.
I just
It's
think they're
like Ave
incredible.
Maria. You know Ave Maria?
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God.
Exactly. And that's actually, interestingly, that's one of, for my partner and I play Ave Maria on New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
every New Year's Eve, because that is in memory of his mum. She loved that. So we play that on New Year's Eve that's our own little ritual that we've developed, because that's an honouring of his mum. But my own personal ritual is, and I don't care how pagan or wild or natural I might be now, I will still sit and listen to Silent Night
Of course.
on Christmas Eve, come what may.
Ik mag, ik beyond, because it's beyond the whole Christmas, whatever you might think about it. The music itself is very powerful. I think,
Very,
you know,
very
it's not
powerful.
very deep. It's not something, and then it, you know, it's really, if you think about classical music in that aspect, how powerful music we used to create, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
compared to the bing bing ding ding. Anyway, to the pop
I think
music.
as well, something else has just come to me. So let's look at Christianity, because, you know, we've been brought up with Christianity. Looking back to the original premise that there was this child born in the stable, and the kings came to honor him, and he was going to be the Messiah. 2,000 years ago, that belief system to the ordinary person was, when it was shared with them, and the actual power of the story must have been incredibly powerful, because life was really hard for those people. It still is for some people now. It's incredibly hard for those people. And to believe that here's this Messiah and he's going to save us from this terrible life must have been incredibly powerful as a movement going forward. So the celebration of those people, for whatever reason, again, will have gone up there into the ether, and it will have come through our ancestral line. So it's almost like an epigenetic inheritance that we've got to celebrate the sun coming up
Yeah,
and the birth of Christ.
yeah,
Whether the birth of Christ was actually at the solstice, I don't know.
yeah.
However, we celebrate it. You know, the two things have become combined, and
I
we
do
celebrate
believe
it.
the Christ energy to do with like they say, the sun god, sun, you know. In the old days, you know, like they would worship the god of sun, the sun god, and then maybe to do the sun coming back, Christ energy, another god coming, you know. It's really funny, the traditional thing. Um, and when you get legal, people just need legal. I think it doesn't matter if it's like, it's not horrible, but if it's a Jesus Christ or Hitler, you know, if someone, people look, you know, they try to be led, if that makes any sense, you know, no matter if it's now in a good sense, hallelujah, Jesus Christ, or if it's in the other way around, whatever way, you know, and that raises the question, why do we need a leader?
It does. And personally, I think we could have a much more positive view of man as in man, not as in men and women, but man as a species, human, in the human ability to be sovereign, the human ability to actually lead from compassion, to give us the planet where everybody on the planet kind of was clued up and coming from love.
I mean, it's nicht almost, I doubt this is possible purely to the fact that the duality, two things,
Duality.
duality. So we need to have a bit of anger and love and fear and love or whatever.
Yeah,
you have to have it.
Yeah.
However,
the polarity.
get
polarity.
weak and it's very simple. We have enough, there's enough for everyone on this planet, and I believe this is the message of Christmas as well, sun coming back in the north, and in the south, actually, the sun taking less. So I think that for me, the message for Christmas is to get everything here, God is, everything is given to you, through you, within you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think as well, in terms of that polarity sense, the rising above that, getting to the place of being able to neutralize the ill effects of that natural law of polarity, that to me that's what unity is. It's rising above.
Nice word, ill effect.
It's rising above polarity, getting to a place where we can neutralize the ill effects of polarity and going into that place of consciousness, higher consciousness. I think that's what unity is the unity that comes from that place of being in higher consciousness, where we understand that we are simply part of everything and all that is. And it's trusting that all that is has our back. Not like in an anthropomorphic old man with a beard sat on a cloud, And I get that that's what humans do. They have to get an image of something sometimes just to understand it. We have to have that pictorial image. I mean, I'm a very, very visual thinker. Pictures come to me all the time. So I do get analogies, I get all that. Yet when I release that and get to that place of not knowing, but also knowing that if we can let go and trust in that all that is, it's that paradox, yeah? And I want to know, but I'm never going to know. Yet I can still behave from a place of higher consciousness as often as I can, even though I don't know. And there's something maybe even higher than that, I don't know. But if you think about the all that is, from which we are created, so therefore of which we are a part, we have a part to play in maintaining that place of higher consciousness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I think that polarity then just becomes a law that we can look at with an observation, energy.
Yeah. It can always gonna have to be part of in a sense. Yeah.
And I'm not denying that I live on a planet. I'm not denying that I am a human. I'm not denying that I've got human experiences. I'm not denying that I go into, mad, sad and bad behavior. But again, another polarity is saint and sinner, isn't it? I don't honestly think that 100% of people are 100% saint or 100%.
No, it can't be. But you have to have a balance. There's nothing wrong to have the polarity. It's about having a balance of the polarity. You understand what I mean? Like when you talk about the news, they try to change the polarity. You know what I mean? It's like it's okay to be angry and sad, and as much as it's okay to be love and caring and compassionate. You know what I mean? It's both okay, but when something gets too much or too overwhelming, then gets it out of balance, then we have to regenerate the balance again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it's getting to that place of sovereignty, in a place of the word sovereignty meaning being at one in that place of unity, but also understanding that and everybody else then has that potentiality. Because if you feel that you've achieved it and got to a place of higher consciousness at some part of the time, yeah, then you know, because you've done that journey, you've literally arrived there from, or you've dug out all your rubbish and you found it within, then you think, well, I'm just an ordinary person. If I've found it, then everybody else has got the potentiality to find it too. And what it's done for me is be a lot more, or a lot less scared when other humans act out. Yeah. And I'm not talking about war or stuff like that. But also, I think being more detached, because I'd join in. You know, if there was a rock on Facebook and I'd join in, oh, I'm not having this on my newsfeed, you know, and I'd join in and make it 10 times worse. Now, when I see it, I just think, oh, don't want any of that. And I just scroll by. And it's understanding that the power to respond rather than react is within me. And then when that gets embodied, that's when the creativity comes then. It's that's not the end of it all. That's when you sort of tune into your own creativity. And then you become more confident that you're living a creative life rather than a reactive life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So Jools, last question. What's your message for the people out there, right there for Christmas? What's your Christmas message?
Yeah, a Christmas message, therefore. So if I offer a Christmas message, it's not done in an energy that Christmas alone is what Christmas is about. For me, Christmas is about the light. Christmas is about the welcome return of the path upwards of our sun in the Northern Hemisphere. Christmas is about celebration, therefore celebration of life, celebration of our resources, celebration of our connection, celebration of our loved ones, and just celebration of life generally. So in the energy of the festival of light that is called Christmas, it would be that.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and more to come next Saturday. See you later.